In this lesson, we're going to continue discussing text with objects. If you'd like to follow along, go under your File menu to Open, and in the Working Files folder, go into Chapter number 9 and select Text Wraps Part 1 and just click Open. Let's start with text wrap basics. A text wrap makes text run around an object. To apply a text wrap, start by opening your text wrap panel. Why don't we zoom into our page a little bit to better see what's going on? And I'm going to go to my selection tool and select the red text frame that says Wrap Biker Sub. And by default, there is no text wrap. If I go to the second wrap button, it's Wrap Around Bounding Box. And if I click on that, you can see the text is running around my red frame. I could also offset the text further away from the frame. I can click my up arrow to change the offset at the top. And you can see it's adding a little extended light blue line away from that frame. I can do the same thing at the bottom and also the left side and the right side. And let me just move this between my two columns, and you'll see how the text is actually wrapping around this object. Now, I could click on this little link to make all the settings the same in each one of these fields, but I'm going to leave it deselected. And I'm going to go to the next kind of wrap, which is Wrap Around Object Shape. And you can see nothing changed when I clicked Wrap Around Object Shape. And that's because I had a bounding box wrap, and I changed it to a shape wrap, and the shape of the bounding box is a rectangle, and so is the shape of the object itself. So it's not going to change unless I select something that is not a rectangle. Let me just scroll down a little bit, and I'm going to select my oval with the biker in it. And I'm going to apply first a bounding box wrap. And you can see the text is definitely wrapping around that bounding box. Now, watch how it changes when I click on a shape wrap. Instead of wrapping the bounding box, it's wrapping the shape of the ellipse. And I can offset it just by clicking my up arrow next to the offset field. With shape wraps, there's only one field available for my offset. And that's because offsets are the same all the way around when you're applying a shape wrap. Let me scroll back up just a little bit and reselect my red text frame that says Wrap Biker Sub. And I'm going to apply the next kind of wrap, which is Jump Object. And you can see when I apply that, the text jumps over the object anywhere that the text wrap object cuts into the column. If I were to move my text wrap object back into my second column, it's only going to jump the text wrap object in that one column. The next kind of a wrap is Jump to Next Column. Let me just click on Jump to Next Column, and you'll see that everything below my text wrap actually jumps to the next column. If I were to move this object further down in my column, there'll be more text above it. Let me go back to Jump Object. One of the things that's kind of nice is I can actually have an object on a master page, and the text on the local pages will still wrap around it. Like, for instance, this oval coming in from the right side of my page is actually on a master page. So if I try to select it here, you can see it doesn't get selected. But let me go to my Pages panel and double click on A Master. And now select that object. on the master page. Go back to my wraps panel and apply a shape wrap and add a slight offset. How about 3 clicks up? Now I'm going to go back to my local pages. Go to my Pages panel and double-click on page 1. And you can see the text is actually wrapping the wrap object from a master page. Now, in the text wrap panel, there's something that I actually skipped, and we're going to come to that now. So why don't you scroll down to the next page and click on the top of this frame that has the motorcyclist shape in it. And I'm going to apply a wrap. So I'm going to go to my wrap panel and apply a shape wrap. Not exactly doing what I want yet, because the type of contour options by default is something called bounding box. If I select instead detect edges, you can see it's detecting the edges of that Illustrator graphic. But what is invert? If I check that, it's going to wrap the text to the inside of the object. It's going to invert the wrap. Now that's really cool. And I can control how much it's inset just by clicking the up or down arrows. We're going to continue to discuss more about text wrap options in the next lesson.